Hey, quick question before we start. Do you remember being 2 years old? What about 1 year old? What about the very first day you came home from the hospital? No? Nothing? Don't worry. Nobody does. And that's actually really weird when you think about it. Because babies are learning things every single second. They're figuring out faces, voices, words, feelings, how to walk, how to eat. All of that is happening inside their tiny little brains. So why can't we remember any of it? Today, we're going to find out. And trust me, the answer is way more interesting than you think. So stick around, because at the end of this video, your brain is going to feel like it just got unlocked. Okay, so first, let's think about this for a second. You probably have your earliest memory somewhere around age 3 or 4, right? Maybe it's a birthday. Maybe it's a trip somewhere. Maybe it's something small like a toy or a pet. But everything before that, total darkness, complete blank. Scientists actually have a name for this. They call it childhood amnesia. And no, it doesn't mean something went wrong with your brain. It actually means your brain was working exactly the way it was supposed to. Here's the thing. When you're a baby, your brain is basically under construction. Like, imagine a brand new house being built. The walls aren't up yet, the electricity isn't connected, the rooms don't have names yet. Your brain at that age is kind of like that. It's growing so fast, adding millions and millions of new connections every single day. But here's the problem. For a memory to stick, you need a certain part of your brain called the hippocampus. Say it with me. Hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that takes an experience and turns it into a long-term memory, something you can actually remember later. And when you're a baby, the hippocampus isn't finished growing yet. It's like trying to save a file on a computer that doesn't have enough storage. The experience happens, but it just doesn't save properly. By the way, if this is blowing your mind right now, go ahead and hit that like button. I promise it gets even more interesting. So, okay, we know the hippocampus isn't fully developed in babies.
But here's where it gets really cool. Scientists found out there's another big reason we can't remember being a baby, and it has nothing to do with brain parts. It has to do with language. Think about how you remember things. When something happens to you, you tell yourself a little story about it, right? Today, I went to the park. I saw a dog. The dog was funny. You use words to wrap around the memory and keep it safe in your head. But babies don't have words yet. They haven't learned language. So when something happens to them, even something amazing, they have no way to wrap words around it. There's no story, no label, no little mental note that says, this was important, remember this. And without that, the memory just kind of floats away.
Here's a really cool experiment scientists did. They found that kids who were around 2 years old and learned a word for something they experienced, they could remember that thing way better later on. The ones who didn't have a word for it, they forgot it almost completely. So basically, words help lock memories in place. No words equals no lock. The memory just disappears like smoke. Now, here's the question I want you to think about. If babies can't form real memories, does that mean nothing matters to them? Does it mean we don't need to be kind to babies or give them love because they won't even remember it anyway? This is where it gets really deep. And honestly, the answer surprised me too. The answer is absolutely not. Even though babies can't form the kind of memories that you and I have, their experiences still change their brains forever. Scientists call this emotional memory. It's different from regular memory. You won't remember the specific moment, but your brain still learned something from it. For example, babies who grow up in loving, safe environments, even though they won't remember any specific moment from those years, they grow up feeling safe, feeling trusted. Their brains got wired for love and security. even without a single specific memory to point to. And babies who grow up in scary or stressful environments, even though they also won't remember specific moments, their brains get wired differently, more anxious, more on edge, more careful. So in a way, even though the memories don't stick, the feelings and the lessons absolutely do. Isn't that kind of beautiful and kind of scary at the same time? Drop a comment down below. Tell me what you think is your very first memory. How old were you? Where were you? What do you remember? I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know. Okay, so now here's another layer to this whole thing that most people never think about. When we get older, like around age 3 or 4, our memories start working better. But scientists notice something really interesting. Even those early memories from age 3 or 4, they're kind of fuzzy, right? They're not super clear like something that happened last week. And the reason is this: memory isn't like a video recording. It's not like your brain has a little camera that films everything and saves it perfectly. Memory is more like a drawing that you redraw every time you remember it. And every time you redraw it, tiny little details change. Things get added, things get removed, things get mixed up. So even your first memory might not be exactly what happened. It might be a mix of what really happened, what your parents told you happened, and what photos you've seen from that time. Your brain kind of stitches all of that together and calls it a memory. Which means, in a way, none of our memories are perfectly accurate. That's kind of a wild thought, right? Okay, so let me bring this all together for you right now. You can't remember being a baby because, one, your hippocampus wasn't fully built yet, so memories couldn't save properly. 2, you didn't have language yet, so there were no words to lock memories in place. And 3, even the memories that did start forming around age 2 and 3 were being constantly redrawn and rewritten as your brain kept growing. But here's the really important thing I want you to take away from this video. Even though we can't remember it, being a baby was one of the most important times of our entire lives. More learning happened in those first 2 or 3 years than at any other point. Your brain was building its foundation. Everything that happened to you, every smile, every hug, every song, every moment of safety or fear, all of it shaped who you are right now. Second of it, kind of makes you think differently about little kids, doesn't it? And hey, if you learned something new today and your brain feels a little bigger than it did 5 minutes ago, do me a favor. Share this video with one person. Just one. Maybe a friend, maybe your parents, maybe a sibling. Because this is the kind of stuff that's actually worth talking about. And if you want more videos like this, where we take the weird questions that pop into your head and actually answer them properly, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because I drop new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss them. Oh, and one more thing before you go. Here's a question I want to leave you with. If you could go back and actually remember being a baby, would you want to? Or is it kind of nice that those years are private, just for your brain to keep quietly? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.